Well, hello again, friends and fans. Raptor here. Welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. It's time for the third campaign, Pearl of the Orient, to begin, starting in 1984. Again, for the UK, it's the UK versus China. So let's go ahead and get into this campaign right off the bat. Pearl of the Orient is a difficulty on hard, so it's not going to be easy, that's for sure. Year 1984, featuring, apparently the Soviet Union's fighting in this one. That should actually be China, but or maybe it's both, but we'll see. UK, Soviet Union, and/or definitely China for sure. Canada and New Zealand and/or Anzac and/or Australia. So 1984, when the lease of Hong Kong to the United Kingdom comes to an end, Margaret Thatcher's unflinching determination to retain the region drives China to resort to armed force to recover the Pearl of the Orient. Will the outnumbered garrison be able to hold its ground long enough while reinforcements make their way to Hong Kong? I guess that's up for us to determine. So anyway, a couple things before we start. Number one, I'm going to probably pronounce all the names wrong of everything, so don't worry about it. Of course, as usual, things get cute little nicknames. Number two, I'm not an expert at this campaign. I don't know what's going to happen, so obviously I may make some mistakes and probably end turn too early, but the previous three campaigns have made me more aware of my decisions in the game and to know that, what R&R and refitting does and what exactly to do before ending a turn and what to attack with and how cohesion and initiative work, etc., etc. So I should be a little bit more skilled, but I'm not perfect, and again, learn from my mistakes. But here's the cutscene, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Here we go.
June 1982. The Falklands War, Margaret Thatcher's war, ends in a complete British victory. The Iron Lady is at the top of her popularity and influence. September 1982. While on an official visit to Beijing, the British Prime Minister expresses Britain's wish to see China extending the lease of Hong Kong. Deng Xiaoping counters this by putting forward China's will to recover all of its territories that are still under foreign administration. 1983. For a year, negotiations are pursued with no positive results. When they reach a deadlock, the Chinese premier bluntly states that he could walk in and take the whole lot this afternoon. Encouraged by her aura as a victorious war leader in the Falklands, the British Prime Minister takes up the gauntlet and orders the reinforcement of Hong Kong's garrison. In retaliation, China masses troops on Hong Kong's border, hoping to force her to reconsider Britain's position. 6 months later, the Iron Lady hasn't yielded an inch, and even convinces several Commonwealth states to stand alongside Britain. April 19th, 1984. When it was unable to recover through diplomacy, China decides to recover by force. On April 19th, 1984, at 1 minute past midnight, China recalls its ambassador to Great Britain after transmitting a last declaration of war.
Alright, so there you have it. General, the Chinese preparations to invade are more advanced than initially thought. Our intelligence estimates that their troops will cross the border at dawn. Alright. Our task force is en route, but it will only reach the China Sea in about 10 days. You must absolutely keep Hong Kong out of reach of Chinese troops until reinforcements arrive. The Prime Minister can then start diplomatic negotiations. Needless to say, these will be greatly influenced by the outcome of the fighting. Our armored units deployed to the Dosen't Wan Plateau are ready to move and engage the enemy, sir. The plateau is critical. It is a critical logistic platform. We would not survive if we lost it. The RAF and Australian planes are on full alert. They are being deployed to Lantau and Kowloon airports. Our Commonwealth allies are urgently sending us reinforcements. The Canadians should arrive tomorrow by plane. With their help, we must hold Hong Kong for as long as possible. Thank you. So, this is the Pearl of the Orient. This is the Hong Kong sector that China desperately wants and is probably going to fight us to the death for. It's Prime Minister versus Prime Minister, or Premier, I guess you could say, in terms of the Chinese. So we have several sectors to overview here, and what we learned from our previous campaign of Bear versus Dragon is that The outcome of this scenario will greatly be determined by how long we can hold and how much of these areas we can hold for negotiations. So Margaret Thatcher is counting on us, aka the Iron Lady, to hold all of these sectors so that way the United Kingdom can have the greatest negotiating power against China, and to basically show that they can't mess with the red, white, and vertical blue. So horizontal blue, diagonal blue. Anyway, doesn't matter because they're going to be at the bottom of the sea, their troops are going to be dead, and they're going to regret ever coming into Hong Kong. So we have some naval ships here, we have some troops in the back and things that we can bring up to the front. There's a lot of things at Hong Kong Island that we're going to have to push up, but most importantly is probably going to be these two areas here at the plateau, as that soldier had previously told us. The new territories in North District are going to be extremely crucial for fighting back the enemy, and we can't lose them. Additionally, the enemy could come in from the flanks at Naval Sector Lima, or even at Naval Sector Alpha, Delta, Golf, all the way around. So it's time for us to start making our moves. No extra points to spend, so we can't call out anything from the start. In fact, we do have a 5-point Tornado Naval Squadron, but no points to call those out. Move our Navy to the right then to counter any ships that may move over here. Additionally, at Lantau Island, I don't think the enemy can attack until we end our first turn, so there's no real need for me to move aircraft at this moment. However, I'm going to deploy air defenses, this company up here, and also the Royal Hong Kong Regiment, which seems to be a lot of reserves, territorials, blowpipes, Fox, Wombat in there as well. So we'll go ahead and push them up as well. Alright, so additionally, we're going to fight a lot of tanks, it actually looks like. We've got a tank regiment and a heavy tank battalion, as well as some attack helicopters and some more tanks. So it's going to be tank-on-tank fighting, but I'm also guessing that the enemy will probably have some of its aircraft deployed against us. They even have choppers here too, so we'll see if they use those. We will need decent air cover. We have a multi-role squad, the Q 511, which we've used before, so we definitely know that these are capable units. They won't stand a chance against our own Air Force, but they do have numbers, which basically turns the table on us because we'll probably not be able to deal with that so well. We have logistics, so we'll push those up probably to the North District, and we'll push up a lot of our tanks. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the Mark 10s to the new territories. That's our heavy tanks. We have Scotch Guard. Yes, we have Scotch Guard. That's right, to prevent your clothes from being stained. Now, it's the Scotch Guard Regiment. We have, see, they have Chieftain Mark 5s and blowpipes as well. So those are going to be very good along with the logistics here. And since we're calling out Mark 5s that aren't very good, we'll also call up our Chieftain Mark 10s there as well. They won't need them with the Challengers on the right flank, or left flank. They'll need them more on the right flank. Over here we have our anti-tank company, which is Saxons, Strikers, and Wombats, Milan 2s. Unfortunately, we can only move those one territory, so they can't go too far. As for the commandos, I could embark them and attack somewhere, but I'm just going to put them on R&R and kind of watch that sector. Looks like there's a lot of stuff down here we can stick around town with. Push up our gunships, push everything up to Kowloon. I don't anticipate the enemy getting close to us anytime soon. In fact, our helicopters can actually move 2 spaces, so we'll move them now. Alright, that should be it for our first turn then. There's not anything we can do. We are waiting for the Chinese to come to us, and we must defend all these sectors. Not exactly sure if Badan or any of these other sectors are ours. I'm not sure if this is part of Hong Kong as well, and this is just them crossing the border. But our objectives are as stated. Oh, you know what? Actually, we could get 10 more extra points if we were to take that strategic sector. Wow. Badan also could be ours, but we're going to have to hold for their first initial attack. Looks like the Marines, Commando Regiment rather, get Royal Marines. Click on that and see AVREs. Oh, and they even get some ships as well, so not too bad. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get started with our first battle then by turning the tide here, turning the turn over to the enemy. Our operators confirm enemy advance towards the North District and new territories. Enemy forces estimated at 2 armored battalions, as well as a squadron of attack helicopters. It's likely aerial cover. Canada is sending several airborne detachments they can deploy from Kowloon and Lantau airports. The government has just authorized us to use the aircraft carrier HMS Illustrious. That's a stripper name. Hell yeah. All right, so anyway, we do have 15 points now to reinforce with. Man, if we were to get at least one of those sectors, that would be so much more beneficial. So we have the North District that's being attacked by Q511s. Actually, it's just not. Yes, it is Q511s. Also, ZTZ. Wow, there's over 40 tanks in that group, and an additional 36 and 24 tanks in that group. So it's good we sent the higher number of tanks there. More guns are great. To fight more guns. ZTZ-88s, which are pretty accurate tanks, so we'll have to go ahead and send our reinforcements up appropriately. We do have Gurkhas, which are going to be very good at holding the enemy at bay. Let's actually take a look at these maps. Okay, this map here is going to have a lot more infantry cover in towns. Actually, we've completely surrounded them, and there's bridges everywhere, so we could actually really easily surround them with Gurkhas. Let's go ahead and take a look at this map. And this map, lacking towns here, there's not really towns anywhere except for kind of in-between sectors, so that's going to be hard to reinforce. So we'll send the additional infantry to the North District. We'll send our Milan 2s to the... Let's see, they'd probably be better in a town, actually, so we'll send them to the North District as well. And this district, or the new territories rather, will get the addition of helicopters, though I'm not sure if they'll arrive right away. Alright, we can also send in bombers to start. So I'm going to send in the Tornado first generations to this strike squadron to the North District, and this F.4E Phantom to wherever their better fighters are. Looks like they've sent their fighters here, so we'll go ahead and counter those with that. And well, we're gonna, since the North District seems to be a little further away and has, I mean, there's really only one area for us to reinforce it with from the Tucson Juan area. If we, you know, we'd have to move through the new territories to reinforce it, but if it falls, it's going to be really hard to reinforce that. As where if the new territories were to fall, we could reinforce them with our Canadian forces, which we actually should have access to now. We have anti-tank battalions, which includes TOWs, 106 M40s, ADATs, and Grizzlies on the right side. Actually, might be better to have them now rather than later. We can call them out from Kowloon or Lantau Island. I'm going to bring them to Lantau and actually see if we can move them up there right away. That actually might benefit us. Alright, let's start at the new territories, and then, or actually the North District, and then we'll bring it over to the new territories and see how we do. I'm excited to start this new campaign. Again, we've learned a lot of lessons, and keep in mind too, any of your comments will probably be read, but I'm going to be several episodes ahead, so if you're telling me to, you know, not do something, you know, I've probably already done it 3 or 4 turns ahead of you. So sorry for that. So we've got a lot of actually, this is going to be a really close area over here. We've got a lot of territory that we can attack them from. We actually have more Mark 10s than we do Chieftain Mark 5s. They also are going to have helicopters at some point, but we're really going to have to think about how we're going to use that. These are going to be extremely useful too, these Harrier and Tornadoes, if we encounter a lot of tanks, which you can bet your ass we're going to. These choppers then with tanks, as we know with the Chinese, they're probably going to be able to sneak their way through our defenses quite easily, and unfortunately we only have one HQ section. So let's go ahead and call out a Mark 10 command tank to hold the line here. And this will kind of be a last defense zone there. Additionally, we're going to need some AA. And we'll probably need some ammunition for that, so we've got stalwarts in our deck. Tucson Juan area is going to be needing reinforcements. However, we don't have any helicopters. That's a shame. We do have ferrets, though, that have 6 Gallos swing fire, 45% accuracy. That's going to be perfect for guarding those wide open areas like that right there at the bridge. Additionally, we're going to put some Fusiliers down, the Fuses. And we're going to put them in a couple of towns to at least slow the enemy down if they get past those initial defenses. The game doesn't let us put them down directly on houses, so darn. Anyway, we have Milan 1s and Milan 2s and Saxons. And we do have Gurkhas as well. More Fusilas. We're going to go ahead and put them down. anywhere we can attack the enemy from. It's going to be great. We want to slow their advance. This area is going to be a little tougher because they can directly attack us without having to cross a bridge. That's the only area that's not that they don't first have to cross a bridge with. So that's not good. We do have... let's see if we can call something else out over here. We do have strikers we can call out. We can also call out a tank. Or two would probably be better. Put out some recon with some regular infantry. And we're actually going to want to put some more of those blowpipes around. They're cheap. They're effective. Well, they can't hit anything, but at least it'll scare them. We'll keep some in the back here. And let's put some Milan 2s right up on the line. That's not far enough away. We'll put them back there. Put our Fusiliers up there. Now, we're not going to start with any aircraft. We don't have enough points just yet. We are going to want to make sure whatever needs ammunition's got it. Strikers are going to need that. And these ferrets will probably need it too. So it looks like we've spent all of our points. That should be it. Everything looks like it's in a defensive position. The enemy does have less morale than we do, but we should be able to break them so long as we get our VF-432s out of there. So let's go ahead and start. And let's see what we got. Alright, transports. Hopefully they get out of there right away. Now we did not have a command for Delta, so we'll call that out as soon as we can. We do have our links in the back, which is okay. He can move, if needed, quickly. PGZ-80's moving up.
Okay, what's the situation?
Just call ourselves to the back.
Moving up.
We'll need recon and a command as soon as possible. PGZ-80 there.
Waiting for your orders, sir.
Looks like they've got Q511s already.
On target.
Could call out a fighter. Let's do that. Call out a trained one. They've got artillery to start with.
Attack run.
Those are gone. Strikers are gone. Shame.
Brace yourself. We're flying in.
Oh, they were going for the cheap transports. Sillies. Alright, we're going to break off then. We'll bring the tornado back in again another time. Alright, let's get those additional points ASAP. Kind of call out a links there as well, some supporting troops. Hide right there in the bridge. Now they can waste time with artillery all they want. That'll give me time to kill their actual important tanks. Go right ahead, China. Now, knowing the computer, they'll find these FE-32s and just start shooting them. So we'll just spread out. Cheap recon. Basically, if anything kills them, you know exactly where the enemy is, and you can better deal with it. Alright, so it looks like we're doing really well, actually, for once. Haha. Well, of course, this is the first round, so we don't even have a FOB, so supplies can kind of just, you know, we'll have to cover them, but I'm going to call out another fighter and see if we can drop bombs on these foos. And if enemy aircraft happen to come out, then perfect, we'll just go ahead and engage them instead. I hope they don't call out, well, if I were them, I wouldn't call out my cluster bombs to deal with these. Oh, beautiful. There goes half the Chinese artillery. Oh, beautiful. That, oh wow, that really cut deep into the enemy artillery. Alright, we'll call out Generation 3 Harriers. They're getting awfully close to the blowpipes. I don't know how the hell they know those are there. They smell them. Bastards. We'll send our Fusiliers up to engage our Bustles. Alright, they are getting a little close to our Chieftain Mark 10. Gonna call out another bomber. That tank's faster than the damn troops in the woods. Oh, come on now. Fusiliers are well into the woods. Bombs away. Beautiful. Alright, ZTZs are engaging our troops. That stops them right where they're at. Yeah, right. One shot and the blowpipe disappears in the stalwart too. I don't believe that. Sorry, your tanks can't be that fast, baby. Not in the woods. Alright, they've their attacks stalled everywhere else. So we may as well bring up a few more tanks. I don't know where that tank went, but we'll find him. Stationary vehicles are going to be nice targets for us to hit. Beautiful. PGZ-80s, we'll just engage those instead. Short range AA. Lols. Ooh, nice. There was artillery too. Goodbye. It looks like our tanks are arriving, so we'll move up to meet them. Not exactly sure where that enemy tank group went. And I'm not seeing movement anywhere else from the enemy. Alright, we better get recon up. That's the tough thing about not just, not calling, we gotta get out of here. I would just bomb the ground from now on instead of wasting time by actually targeting something. Just try to lead the target in, especially since they're gonna move time and time again. Man, we got half of China sitting there. Oh, they called in all that. Alright, we stunned them. We'll just go ahead and follow this group of tanks. They're probably gonna... Are they parking in town, or where are they going? They're pissed off at the blowpipes, okay. Alright, we'll blanket that area. I don't want to get any closer with the Gazelle and lose it. And they're gonna have to go through, well, now we've got over 7 or 8 Chieftain Mark 10s now. See if we can catch some of these bastards out in the open. There we go. No movement anywhere else. That's good. Doesn't seem they've gotten behind us or anything. A lot of tanks coming now. We'll just hold. We'll wait to attack them all at once. Alright, Chieftains are getting hit a little bit by the unfortunate earlier attack. Alright, Harriers, get out of here. Beautiful work from those Harriers. Beautiful works from the tanks. We'll take out the bigger group. That's more concentrated. Damn. A little too low on that. We'll just go ahead and finish off the rest of those tanks there. So it looks like we contain the Red Menace, losing a few chieftains and maybe an aircraft or two. But damn, for what they had, they definitely took a beating. That could have went a lot differently too. I got lucky there. That wasn't just skill. There is luck involved in this game. RNG all the way. All right, we have some additional tanks coming up. Looks like the Premier isn't done yet. We're gonna make him a Peking duck here in a second. We're gonna fry these tanks here in a second as soon as they get engaged. There we go. Wow, good score there. Alright, so a total victory, no destruction of any enemy forces. They had far too many numbers really for us to push in like that. So they had the tank regiment, the independent tank battalion, and the multi-role squadron. That's probably going to make this next battle a lot more difficult. Looks like they're retreating out, and the aircraft should go soon enough. Up next is the new territories, and it's a new territory for me because now we're going to be playing with some of the best British armor there is, and ATGMs, and some good AA. So we'll be up with that next and see what we can do. I'll see you guys. Until next time, bye.